Alright, what's going on, guys? We got another One Piece timeline video. This time, we're going to do the Arabasta Saga. Now, this is the second saga in the manga and the anime of One Piece, and it goes from chapters 101 to 217, and for the anime, episodes 62 to 130, which means it's 69 episodes in length. Anyway, before we start this saga, guys, I got a brief anime ad for you guys. Nami says that the entrance of the Grand Line is a mountain. The boat then enters the Calm Belt. It turns out that the Grand Line is surrounded by two calm belts. A Sea King then emerges from the water. After a scary encounter, the crew leaves the Calm Belt and gets back on track. They eventually reach the Red Line and see the entrance to the waterway. Despite some difficulties, they enter the waterway safely. As they enter the Grand Line, a gigantic whale blocks their path. The whale destroys Luffy's special seat, so he punches it in the eye. The whale then swallows everyone but Luffy. Inside the whale, the crew comes upon an island. Luffy enters a door in the whale as the others spot a ship. The crew comes upon a lighthouse keeper, Crocus. The whale then starts bashing his head against the Red Line. The mysterious Mr. Nine and Miss Wednesday then enter the whale, aiming to eliminate Crocus. Due to the whale's movement, Luffy, Mr. Nine, and Miss Wednesday fall into the whale. Mr. Nine and Miss Wednesday want to destroy the whale, but Luffy knocks them out. Laboon, the whale, was left behind by some pirates, but they never returned for him. He thusly waited 50 years and is growing impatient. Crocus allows Luffy's crew to exit the whale. In the past, Crocus told Laboon that the pirates would never return. That's when he started hitting his head. Luffy then takes the mast and starts fighting with Laboon. It's a tie! Our fight has yet to be settled, so we must fight each other again. Once Luffy sails the Grand Line, he'll come back to duke it out with Laboon. Luffy paints a Jolly Roger on Laboon. Crocus tells Nami that they'll need a log pose to navigate the Grand Line, which is a special type of compass. The final step in the Grand Line is Raftel, with only the Pirate King and his crew confirming of its existence. Mr. Nine and Miss Wednesday then beg the crew to take them back to their town. Nami admits they accidentally broke their log pose, but Crocus gives them his to help them out. Laboon says farewell as the Straw Hats set sail. The unpredictable waters make navigation quite difficult. The group finally reaches an island with giant cacti, i.e. Whiskey Peak. Nami explains that they'll need to stay on the island while the log pose records its magnetic field. The townsfolk of Whiskey Island then start cheering them on as they arrive. The Straw Hats proceed to enjoy themselves with food and women. As the Straw Hats fall asleep for the night, the town finds out that Luffy has a 30 million belly bounty on him. Zoro, however, only pretended to be passed out, as he calls out the Baroque work agents. Zoro makes quick work of the crime syndicate. Mr. 8, Miss Monday, Mr. 9, and Miss Wednesday decide to deal with him personally. Zoro tries out his new swords on the Baroque work agents. Even nuns and children are out to kill him. Eventually, a man holds him down and pounds his face. Zoro easily turns the tables on him. Mr. 8 attacks Zoro with his saxophone that shoots bullets. Mr. 9 then uses aerobatic moves, but Zoro easily scares him. Miss Wednesday hypnotizes Zoro, but her riding bird, Karu, goes the wrong way. She then takes Luffy hostage. Mr. 8 fires bullets from his hair, but Zoro pulls Mr. 9 into the blast as he goes flying into Miss Wednesday. Zoro then finishes off Mr. 8. Just then, Mr. 5 and Miss Valentine show up to clean up the mess. Well, actually, they discovered that Mr. 8 and Miss Wednesday found out about the boss's secret, so they're here to eliminate them. Mr. 5 hits Mr. 9 with an explosive as he chases down Miss Wednesday, who, as it turns out, is Princess Vivi of Arabasta. Nami then tells Mr. 8 they'll save Vivi for 1 million belly. Nami agrees to save the princess, but the situation is uncertain. Vivi continues escaping as Mr. 5 takes down Miss Monday by exploding a part of his body with a special ability. Zoro then intervenes, saying he's coming to save Miss Wednesday. It turns out that the final objective of the Baroque works is to create an ideal nation, and Mr. Ro is their boss. Miss Valentine looks to kill Zoro as Luffy challenges Zoro to a fight. It turns out that Luffy is pissed that Zoro cut up the people that were so friendly to them. Zoro tries to explain. "Don't make excuses!" yells Luffy. Mr. 5 looks to kill Luffy, but the Straw Hat Pirate easily dispatches him. Luffy proceeds to yell at Zoro as the two clash with each other. Mr. 5 and Miss Valentine plan to use this distraction to their advantage. But... God, you two are annoying! Getting in the way of our fight! So damn annoying. Who the hell are they anyways? Nami stops the fight by punching the two. Nami tries to make a contract with Vivi, but she refuses. It turns out that Vivi's country, Arabasta, is on the verge of chaos. And it turns out that the Baroque works were the ones instigating a revolution. To aid her country, Vivi decided to infiltrate the Baroque works with her counselor, Eiichiro, in order to understand the organization's true motives. Baroque works' true objective is to take over the kingdom of Arabasta. Vivi then accidentally reveals the boss to the organization, Crocodile, a member of the Oko Shichibukai. And because some undercover agents heard about this, the Straw Hats were put on a wanted list. Eiichiro then asked for an eternal posa, and it turns out that this one has recorded the magnetic field for Arabasta. Eiichiro then leaves Princess Vivi in the Straw Hat's care. Unfortunately, as Eiichiro is sailing away, his boat explodes. Princess Vivi cries as Nami assures her that they'll get safely back to Arabasta. Luffy grabs Usap and Sanji so they can leave Whiskey Point in a hurry. The crew boards the ship as the fog begins to lift. Miss All Sunday then makes her presence known. She disarms Usap and Sanji and even takes Luffy's straw hat from him. She then tosses Vivi an eternal pose and says it points to an uninhabited island. Luffy crushes it, however. "Don't you dare think you can choose the path of our journey." Miss All Sunday then leaves on her turtle. The Straw Hats then make their way to the island, Little Garden. A large dolphin then jumps out of the water. The crew enters the little garden, which looks like a thick jungle. "I smell adventure ahead." The group then comes across a dinosaur, which Luffy proceeds to ride. Nami and Usap encounter Brogy, a large Viking. He then slices off a dinosaur's head. The giant Dory then slices off the head of the Brachiosaurus. The two giants are from Elfbaf, as they cook up the dinosaurs to eat. In addition, they've been in conflict with each other for over 100 years, as the two engage each other with smiles on their faces. Mr. 3 and Miss Golden Week decide they'll take on the pirates that defeated Mr. 5. Meanwhile, Dory and Brogy's fight ends in a draw. Dory drinks some rum, but it explodes in his mouth. Dory proceeds to get enraged and blames the Straw Hats for the incident. "Sorry about this, mister, but I'm gonna have to shut you up for a bit." Dory attacks Luffy with his massive sword, but the Straw Hat Pirate dodges. Luffy uses Gumu Gumu Rocket to deal a significant blow. Due to being weakened from Brogy earlier, Dory collapses to the ground. Luffy determines that someone else must have been behind this rum incident. Mr. 5 and Miss Valentine then enter a wax house as they are greeted by Mr. 3. The two giants have large bounties on their heads, and it was Mr. 3 who placed the bomb inside the rum. A volcano goes off, signaling the next fight between the giants. Usap becomes inspired by the giants and wants to become a brave warrior of the seas. Luffy warns Dory that the fight has been manipulated by a third party, but the giant seems unconcerned. The two giants then go at each other. Mr. 3 plans on defeating the Straw Hats without actually fighting them. Zoro and Nami are then caught by duplicate versions of their crewmates. Vivi suspects that the Baroque agents are behind these weird occurrences. Mr. 3 then makes Dory trip so that Brogy can have the opportunity to finish him off. Brogy then cuts down Dory. "Who was it? Show yourself!" Mr. 3 then uses his power to cover Brogy in wax. Vivi then finds Karu incapacitated on the ground. Vivi attacks Mr. 5, but he captures her with ease. Luffy then gets trapped under a rock. Mr. 5 then uses his exploding ability to injure Luffy. Mr. 5 then returns Vivi to Mr. 3, as he uses his wax to trap the princess in place. Mr. 3 creates a gigantic candle structure and traps Zoro, Nami, and Vivi within the base. Mr. 3 intends on turning them into wax dolls. Brogy then becomes enraged by Mr. 3's deceptive nature, but Mr. 5 explodes his arm. Mr. 3 then stabs Brogy with a wax sword in his hand and foot. Nami and Vivi panic as their bodies are covered in wax. Zoro then bravely claims that he'll cut off his own feet to free himself. Though it sounds crazy, Brogy is inspired by Zoro's spirit. Just then, Luffy, Usap, and Karu burst into the proceedings. Just in time, in fact, because Zoro was already halfway through cutting off his own legs. Mr. 3 looks ready to take on Luffy. He starts off by binding Luffy's legs with wax. However, Luffy uses the candle as a hammer to destroy the candle pillar. Unfortunately, Nami, Zoro, and Vivi still can't move. Luffy then dodges Mr. 3's candle harpoon. Luffy then manages to punch Mr. 3, sending him flying. Luffy then says he's not in the mood to save them, as Miss Golden Week activates Color's trap. Usap then notices weird painting below Luffy's feet. It turns out that Miss Golden Week can use the power of color to control people. Black, as it turns out, is the color of betrayal. Luffy steps off the color black, but then Miss Golden Week paints the laughing yellow on his back. Meanwhile, Usap is chased by Mr. 5 and Miss Valentine. Usap fires at Luffy to break him out of his trance. Usap is then shot by Mr. 5 with Breeze Breath Bomb. Elsewhere, Sanji comes upon Mr. 3's wax house. Luffy is then pissed that all his friends look like solid wax. Mr. 3 creates a massive suit of wax around his body as he launches himself into Luffy. Usap is then shot by Mr. 5 as Luffy is crushed by Mr. 3. Luckily, Karu and Usap wrapped an oil-soaked rope around the wax structure, as Luffy sets it all on fire with Mr. 3's burning hair. Nami and Vivi are freed from the wax as they defeat Miss Valentine. Zoro, who was also released, finishes off Mr. 5. Elsewhere, Luffy and Karu chase Mr. 3 in the woods. Luffy then runs into wax duplicates of Mr. 3. Nonetheless, Luffy stamps his foot in the real Mr. 3's face out of instinct, as Karu terrifies Miss Golden Week. Inside Mr. 3's house, Sanji picks up a call from Mr. O, the Baroque Works boss. Brogy cries about Dory's death, but then he wakes up, saying that he was only passed out for a bit. After a heartfelt moment, the two giants get ready to fight again. Meanwhile, Sanji impersonates Mr. 3's voice on the phone with Mr. O. The Unluckies are heading their way and will give them an eternal pose to Arabasta. Just then, the Unluckies arrive at Mr. 3's house, so Sanji has to take them out. After finishing the phone call, Mr. O tells Miss All Sunday to send Mr. 2 to assassinate Mr. 3. Smoker intercepts the call between Mr. O and Sanji. Meanwhile, Sanji tells the crew that he just got off the phone with Mr. O, and he stole an eternal pose from the Baroque Works. As Luffy's crew begins to set sail, the giants tell them to sail straight, no matter what happens. The Going Merry goes forward, as Brogy says, "In the name of Elfboff, we vow to clear the path." A giant golden fish then emerges from the water, blocking their path. Heeding the giants' advice, the Going Merry heads straight into the goldfish's mouth. The giants perform Supreme Kingdom to blast a hole into the goldfish's body, allowing Luffy's ship to go straight through. Afterwards, the two giants remember the old days through a flashback. The Straw Hats look happy to finally resume their trip to Arabasta. Unfortunately, though, Nami collapses to the ground with an extremely high fever. Without a doctor on the ship, the Straw Hats get concerned. Actually more freaked out, to be honest with you. Vivi then finds out that Arabasta is on the verge of civil war. Nami then pretends as though she's feeling fine. She then senses a change in the atmosphere and orders the ship to turn around. Given the emerging crisis in her country, Vivi wants to return as fast as possible. The first priority is to make sure that Nami gets better as fast as possible. A giant cyclone then appears. They avoid it, but soon end up in an area with a bunch of snow. The crew then comes upon a shivering man walking on top of the water. Out of nowhere, a gigantic ship emerges from the water. The pirates from the ship then come down with their guns, as it looks like the Straw Hats are in a bit of trouble. The captain of the ship, Tin Plate Wapol, then eats a sword. He even eats the ship itself. Luffy puts his hands in the pirate's mouth, outstretches them, and leaves him off of the boat. "Get off my ship!" Afterwards, the Straw Hats go to sleep for the night. In a flashback, the blinking parents vow revenge on the Straw Hats. Vivi explains that to survive on the Grand Line, you have to endure any type of season. The crew reaches a snowy, mountainous island. Unfortunately, someone tells them to turn around immediately and leave at once. In the commotion, one of the villagers shouts Vivi. Vivi is fine, but she and Luffy beg for the villagers to save Nami. Dalton takes the Straw Hats to the town of Bighorn. The crew looks at the castle, where the lone doctor of the entire country lives, Dr. Kariha. There's rumors that she rides on a sleigh on moonlit nights, hence the reason she's called a witch. Luffy puts Nami on his back, and him and Sanji begin their hike up the mountain. Dalton says that the crew of the 5 pirates, with their captain Blackbeard, utterly destroyed their country. In their misfortune, they were able to get rid of the tyrannical Wapol. During the attack of Blackbeard, Wapol abandoned the country. As Luffy and Sanji make their trek, a ferocious rabbit begins to attack them. Meanwhile, King Wapol makes his way back to Drum Island. Dr. Kariha, master of the doctors, comes down to a nearby village to heal a small boy. Luffy and Sanji are then attacked by a giant herd of Lapin, which are giant rabbits. Sanji wants Luffy to avoid battle so Nami doesn't get injured in the process. The two are forced to run as Wapol arrives back at his kingdom. When he finds out that the Straw Hats are on the island, he orders his men to find and kill them. Upon hearing that Wapol returned, Dalton rushes to find him so that he can eliminate them. Wapol makes his return, but is furious to find out that Dr. Kariha took his castle in his absence. "That's as far as you'll go," yells Dalton. Due to an absurd kingdom law, doctors were exiled from Drum Kingdom. The villagers look to attack, but Dalton sacrifices himself for their sake. Because of the jumping Lapin, an avalanche starts rushing down the mountain. Sanji and Luffy attempt to flee as the snow eventually covers them. They get out, but the Lapin prove to be quite resilient. Sanji tosses Luffy to a higher elevation so that he can save Nami. Wapol uses his devil fruit powers to run away from the village as the avalanche comes down. Afterwards, Wapol blames the Straw Hats for the avalanche. Luffy then grabs Sanji's unconscious body as he carries him and Nami up the mountain. Luffy is then found by Wapol and attacked by his men. Unfortunately, all Luffy can do is evade their attacks. Luckily, two Lapin come in and defend him because he saved one earlier. Luffy then spends 3 hours climbing up the cliff to the castle. "What a grand castle," says Luffy. The boy collapses from exhaustion, but someone grabs him before he plunges to his death. Vivi, Zoro, and Usap recover from the recent avalanche. Zoro beats up one of the guards so that he can steal his coat for warmth. Inside the castle, Nami wakes up to a strange talking animal that is taking care of her. Dr. Kariha then introduces herself and says that Nami would have died in 2 days from a poisonous tick bite. Meanwhile, Luffy and Sanji burst into the room, attempting to eat Chopper, the furry animal. "I'm not your food!" yells Chopper. Despite this, Luffy and Sanji proceed to chase him around the castle. While Dr. Kariha chases the two, Chopper has a conversation with Nami. In the now, Luffy and Sanji chase Chopper again as Dr. Kariha tells Nami that Chopper ate a devil fruit and was chased off by his fellow reindeer. In the now, Chopper uses his ability to transform into his muscular form. Impressed by his ability, Luffy wants Chopper to join his pirate crew. Chopper warns the doctor that Wapol is back. Outside, Wapol is furious that the flag on his castle has changed. Luffy looks to punch Wapol as we then begin a flashback going back 6 years ago. In it, we learn about Dr. Hiluluk. Though Chopper didn't trust humans at this point in time, because they were the ones that injured him, the doctor proved to him that he was of no threat. Soon afterwards, Chopper is cured of all his injuries. The doctor then gives the reindeer the name Tony Chopper. Captain of Drum's Royal Guards, Dalton, worries about the way in which Wapol is ruling the kingdom. Wapol demonstrates his crude nature by slapping a younger princess Vivi. Dr. Hiluluk tells Chopper that the kingdom is sick in their hearts, but he is confident that this is no incurable disease. After a full year of treatment, the doctor releases Chopper from his care. He eventually chases the reindeer off, but ends up sobbing profusely afterwards. Shortly afterwards, Dr. Hiluluk discovers that he's gonna die. Desperate to save the doctor, Chopper ventures off to look for a cure. Unfortunately, he encounters his old herd and ends up battling them, sustaining severe wounds in the process. He ends up winning and takes a medicinal mushroom to Dr. Hiluluk. "Why, I can already feel the energy surging through my whole body. Thank you very much, Chopper." Now that Dr. Hiluluk has the panacea that will cure even the sick heart of this country, he is absolutely exuberant. And he even wants to teach Chopper about being a doctor. Upon showing Dr. Kariha the mushroom, she immediately slaps the reindeer, saying that he fed him a poisonous mushroom. Upon finding this out, Chopper cries profusely. Meanwhile, Dr. Hiluluk arrives at the castle, saying he's come to cure the MD-20. Dr. Hiluluk falls into Wapol's trap, but is pleased that no one is sick. The good doctor then commits suicide, claiming that it's been a spectacular life. Chopper comes rushing in and battles with Dalton. Dalton urges him to run away as he calls Wapol a fool. Chopper returns to Kariha and says he'll become a doctor that will cure anything. The flashback finally ends with Luffy punching Wapol in the face. Wapol is beyond ticked off by Luffy's antics. Chopper then says, "I won't let the likes of you knock down Doc's conviction." Chess and Karu Marumo attack with Chopper and Sanji fighting back. Luffy grabs onto Sanji's leg and launches himself into Wapol, causing him to spit out Chopper. Elsewhere, Dalton is saved by a couple of doctors whom work for Wapol. Back at the castle, Wapol transforms himself into a house that can shoot cannonballs. He then eats his two subordinates and fuses them into Chess Marumo. Dalton recovers, saying that he wants to settle things personally with Wapol. Wapol shoots down Doc's flag and brutalizes Chopper. Luffy replants the flag and says that Wapol could never understand the true meaning of a pirate's flag. Due to Usap being too weak, Zoro decides to carry Dalton up the mountain. Wapol aims to shoot down the flag, but Luffy remains steadfast in keeping it upright. See? You can't break this flag! Sanji looks to attack Wapol, but Kariha stops him in his tracks. Chessmarumo says that Chopper has no friends, but Luffy comes flying down saying that Chopper's got a friend. The final battle looks ready to commence, with Luffy taking on Wapol and Chopper taking on Chessmarumo. Marumo then uses his snow-melting arrows. Chopper begins to transform into his various forms that confuse his opponent. 7 frickin' forms?! He's the world's coolest reindeer! Through a series of maneuvers, Chopper discovers the weak point of Chessmarumo and performs Cherry Blossom Carving Iron Hoof. Wapol then sneaks off into the castle, appalled by what has been done to it. He then starts chasing Nami since she's part of the Straw Hats. He slims up and catches her, but Luffy puts his foot right into his face. Wapol runs away and unveils his secret cannon, titled the Royal Drum 7-Barrel Tin Can King Cannon. However, he finds some living birds inside, giving Luffy the opportunity to finally fight him fair and square. Meanwhile, various townspeople along with Usap, Zoro, and Vivi take the ropeway up to the castle. Dalton reminisces about all the injustices committed by King Wapol. Meanwhile, Luffy tries to keep Wapol's mouth closed, but then the king's tongue turns into a cannon. Dalton tells everyone that he plans on blowing up the castle when they arrive. The battle with Wapol continues, as Luffy uses Gumu Gumu Bazooka. Dalton then reaches the top and bows down to Luffy, thanking him for his service, as it looks like Wapol has been defeated. Usap calls Chopper a monster and eventually scares him off. Kariha takes care of Dalton, Sanji, and Nami inside the castle. Nami gives the doctor a key to the armory, so she ends up waiving the bill for the treatment. Chopper comes back and says he's a monster, and so he can't become a pirate. "Oh, just shut up and come with us already," screams Luffy. Chopper cries and eventually decides he wants to be a Straw Hat. Chopper tells Kariha that he's leaving, but she starts chucking butcher knives at him. He turns into his reindeer form and he pulls away the Straw Hats on a sleigh through the night. Kariha then looks pleased that Chopper is finally happy. As a final send-off, Kariha then dyes the snowflakes pink with Dr. Hiluluk's pink powder, making Chopper cry tears of joy. Afterwards, Hiluluk cherry blossoms that fell on the fateful night became known throughout the world as the voice that signaled the birth of freedom in a country yet without a name. Ace gave Luffy's wanted poster to the villagers and said he'll be waiting for him in Arabasta for 10 days. Kariha then says, "It seems the will of the D is still alive." On the Going Merry, Chopper has fun with his new friends. Going back a few days, Mr. 2 looks for Mr. 3 so that he can kill him, but he is nowhere to be found. Meanwhile, at Arabasta, Crocodile is seen as a hero to the people. It turns out that Crocodile has a bounty of 81 million belly. Several pirates stab Crocodile, but it has no effects on him. He then creates a massive sandstorm with his power. Vivi then explains that Crocodile is seen as a hero in Arabasta because he keeps the people there safe. She then explains the Baroque Works ranking system and how there's 13 pairs of agents. The officer agents are about to be gathering in one place. While fishing, Luffy and Usap catch Mr. 2 on their line. He demonstrates his ability to imitate anyone he touches by changing his face to Luffy's. After the show, he takes his leave and returns to his boat. Realizing they just came into contact with the enemy, the Straw Hats begin to panic since he has now changed his appearance to look like them. As the crew reaches Arabasta, they all place a bandage on their left arm to be an identifying mark that they are the true member of the Straw Hats. Inside the town already are Captain Smoker and Portgas d'Ace, both of whom are looking for the Straw Hat Pirates. "Oh, I'm just looking around, for my little brother that is," says Ace, 2nd Division Commander of the Whitebeard Pirates. Vivi then notices Mr. 3's ship on the shore. Inside the restaurant, Smoker confronts Ace. Smoker wants to arrest him, but then Luffy runs into his back. Ace is so happy to see Luffy, but Smoker smashes his face into the ground, looking to take the Straw Hats into custody. Not wanting to be captured by Smoker, Luffy quickly takes off. Elsewhere, Nami and Vivi have bought some new clothing for the climate, much to Sanji's delight. Vivi then tells him they need to stop the rebel forces by going over to a town called Yuba. As Smoker chases Luffy, Ace intervenes on the Straw Hats' behalf. "You haven't changed at all, have you, Luffy?" says Ace. Ace tells Luffy to go on ahead, as they'll talk at a later time. Vivi gives Karu a letter that is to be delivered to her father. Luffy explains that Ace is 3 years older than him, and he's surprised that he's a devil fruit user as well. Ace then hops on board, asking Luffy and his friends if they want to join the Whitebeard Pirates, but Luffy declines. Ace then hands Luffy a piece of paper that will allow them to see each other again. It turns out that Ace is after a pirate known as Blackbeard, who used to be a member of the Whitebeard Pirates' 2nd Division. As Ace leaves, he takes out the Baroque work billions with relative ease. Hurry up and come up to the top, Luffy. Afterwards, Luffy and the Straw Hats prepare to go to Yuba Oasis to stop the rebellious forces through words. Meanwhile, Crocodile and Miss All Sunday finish preparations for their future operation. The various Baroque work agents meet at the Spider's Cafe, with the instructions to head to Rain Base, the City of Dreams. That's where they'll meet the mysterious man they call Boss. Earlier that day, the Straw Hats just crossed the Sandora River on their way to Yuba Oasis. The group then meets a pack of Kung Fu Duong. For years now, droughts have affected the lands of Arabasta. 2 years ago, a green powder was spilled in the capital of Arabasta, a powder called dance powder. Essentially, it's a powder that artificially makes rain. To do this, however, it steals rain from neighboring countries. Vivi believes this was set up by Crocodile to make her father look bad and to precipitate a rebellion. I will never forgive that man, screams Vivi. The Straw Hats struggle with the heat of the desert. A bunch of soggy birds pretend to be injured to steal their luggage. The crew then struggles with a giant lizard. The women then ride a camel that only allows girls to ride on him. After much trouble, the Straw Hats reach Yuba. The oasis has dried up, however. The crew then meets a Yuba villager, Toto. Vivi then has a flashback of 11 years ago. Koza, a young kid, asks the king to stop the drought in the village. Toto was this boy's father. Later on, Vivi became the sub-leader of the Suna Suna clan, just under Koza. One day, some bandits attempted to capture Vivi, but the Suna Suna clan helped her escape. Koza, in particular, showed considerable bravery in protecting Vivi from the bandits. Cobra and Eiichiro arrive shortly afterwards to stop the bandits. When Koza recovers at the palace, he tells Vivi that her dad will allow them to build a new city called Yuba. In the now, it is revealed that Koza is the leader of the rebellion, and he wants to strike the capital. While the Straw Hats sleep, the Baroque work agents meet at the rain dinners. Crocodile is revealed to be the boss, as he announces the final plan, titled Utopia. In just one night, this country will become our utopia, says Crocodile. Toto hands Luffy some water, but shortly afterwards, Luffy says he quits. Crocodile is furious that the Straw Hats and Vivi are still alive. Using his power, Mr. 2 shows Crocodile the faces of all the Straw Hats, except for Sanji. Crocodile then sends Mr. 3 to his death, under the wrath of giant crocodiles. Do not let the princess and the pirates into Kariha. Vivi and Koza must not see each other, says Crocodile. Luffy says Vivi is too naive for not wanting people to die. She can't blame the rebels as everything is Crocodile's fault. The Straw Hats make their way to Crocodile's home in Rain Base, as Koza prepares to attack Alabarna. King Cobra then receives a message from Karu. He is flabbergasted that Crocodile is attempting to take over the country. Cobra then decides he'll attack the Rain Base and Crocodile at once. With this, the rebels will attack the king in Alabarna. The king will attack Crocodile, and the Straw Hats will attack Crocodile as well. And all while this is going on, the Baroque work agents will implement Plan Utopia. The Straw Hats arrive at Rain Base, and Luffy immediately runs into Smoker and Tashigi. From there, the Straw Hats decide to split up and meet at Crocodile's casino. Tashigi demands a fight from Zoro, but the pirate runs off. Luffy meets up with the Straw Hats as they enter the casino, with Smoker on their tail. Meanwhile, Crocodile is pleased that the pirates have arrived. Crocodile! Get your ass out here! Screams Luffy. After the ruckus, the Straw Hats are invited into the VIP room. Unfortunately, they're put into a holding cell. Smoker states that the cell is made of a sea stone, which drains Devil Fruit users of their powers. Crocodile mocks them and says that his partner is picking up the guest of honor. Meanwhile, Vivi is rescued by Pell, the strongest warrior in all of Arabasta, who can fly through his Devil Fruit power. Miss All Sunday then arrives, stating that this is the first time she's seen a human fly. Vivi berates Miss All Sunday for killing Eiichiro, but Miss All Sunday impales her with her own hand. All Sunday can make various parts of her body grow out like flowers. She takes down Pell and takes Vivi to Crocodile's lair. Crocodile intimidates her, so she lashes out. It looks like she's won, but thanks to Crocodile's Suna Suna no Mi, he's unharmed. Basically, he can turn his body into sand. It's now time for Plan Utopia to start. The king announces that he stole the rain from Nanohana. He then states he's gonna crush this town. Koza shows up, blaming him for killing so many innocent people. Koza is then shot as a ship crashes into the harbor. It is then revealed that Mr. 2 was impersonating the king to start a riot. Enraged by the incident, Koza orders his men to prepare for war. "No forgiveness for the king!" yells Koza. While he's conflicted, Chaka orders the royal guard to push back the rebellion. Crocodile explains how he slowly tore down the country to get to this point. Vivi says if they can get to Alabarna before the rebellion does, they can stop them. Crocodile then tosses a key for the cage into the crocodile pit where they feed. There are 8 hours left until the killing begins. One of the crocodiles then swallows the key. Crocodile tells them that the room will flood in 1 hour as he prepares to leave. "Do you think sandstorms can attack a town successfully so many times?" says Crocodile, indicating that he was the one that destroyed Yuba's oasis. Luffy pleads with Vivi to get them out of the cage, while Crocodile laughs. Vivi barely dodges the ferocious creatures as Crocodile receives a phone call. It turns out that it's Sanji on the other end, and he tells Crocodile that he's at the front gate of the casino. Vivi attempts to escape, but is stopped promptly by Crocodile. Vivi tells everyone to hang on as she looks for help. Outside the casino, Crocodile finds all the millions defeated. He chases after the culprit, but it's Chopper in disguise. The bridge to the casino sinks as Sanji asks Vivi where he needs to go to save his friends. Meanwhile, Chopper changes his appearance to sneak past Crocodile. Smoker says that Miss All Sunday has a 70 million belly bounty on her, and this crisis could eventually spread over to the entire world. Elsewhere, Sanji kicks one of the crocodiles, surprising all his comrades. And thus, the search for the key begins. Crocodile returns, however, revealing that he had the real key at this entire time. Nevertheless, when he returns to the room, the Straw Hats are gone, leaving a message on Mr. 3 saying, "See you later, you crock of shit!" In the not-too-distant past, Mr. 3 saved himself inside the crocodile by surrounding himself with wax. They then had Mr. 3 create a key out of wax to set them free. The crew swims their way out of the room as it fills with water. Smoker wonders why they saved him, but it was Luffy's orders, so Sanji followed. Smoker allows them to go, but says the next time that they meet, they're all dead. Smoker then calls in reinforcements as Chopper comes in on top of a giant crab. Vivi is grabbed by Crocodile's hook, but Luffy unhooks her and grabs it himself so that he can go face Crocodile. "Get Vivi to the palace," says Luffy. "We'll be waiting for you in Alubarna," replies Vivi. Nico Robin, i.e. Miss All Sunday, heads towards Alubarna as Crocodile gives Luffy 3 minutes. Despite Luffy's best attacks, Crocodile's ability to transform into sand renders them all useless. Crocodile then creates a hole in the quicksand as Luffy manages to escape. He then uses Gomu Gomu Net, but Crocodile strikes back. Luffy's arm then begins to wither, making him panic. Luffy chomps down on Crocodile, but the Baroque Works boss has had enough. He then creates a massive sandstorm that is set to hit Yuba. Yuba yells at him to stop it, but Crocodile uses his hook to impale him. "He promised we would just have to wait for him in Alubarna," says Vivi. In Yuba, water starts coming up. Luffy mutters water as Crocodile throws him into the quicksand. Smoker is heading out to sea as he tells Tashiki to watch the country of Arabasta very closely. Meanwhile, the rebels close in on Alubarna as the capital prepares for the coming attack. Mr. 4 and Miss Merry Christmas are seen with a bloodied up King Cobra. It turns out that all the key forces are set to collide in Alubarna. Luffy's head then pops out of the sand. Meat! Miss All Sunday then urges Pell to save Luffy. The Straw Hats then traverse many obstacles on their way to Alubarna, and they eventually meet up with Karu and the Super Spot Build Duck Squad. Elsewhere, the Baroque Works agents talk about the Straw Hats and how they need to eliminate Vivi. Miss Merry Christmas then spots the Straw Hats on some ducks. Mr. 4 fires an exploding baseball at the ducks, but it's ineffective. Through their deceptive measures, the Straw Hats trick the agents, allowing Vivi and Karu to catch up with the rebels. She attempts to stop the rebels, but an undercover Baroque Works agent fires a cannonball to distract them. Koza and the rebels charge past Vivi as the dust obscures their vision. "Bring Arabasta down!" screams the rebels. Usap then arrives, offering to give her a ride. However, Vivi determines that he's an imposter as she rides away on Karu. Mr. 2 then wonders how she knew he was a fake, as he starts to pursue her. Karu then rushes up the cliffs of Alubarna. Karu runs through the battlefield as they run away from Mr. 2. Karu is then shot as Vivi begins to sob. Another duck comes to the rescue as Sanji appears. Elsewhere, Usap finds a wounded Chopper. Mr. 4 hits a baseball at Usap's face, which causes it to explode. Another ball comes towards Usap as Chopper tells him to run. Miss Merry Christmas then transforms into a mole and burrows underground. Usap and Chopper struggle against the constant attacks, but Usap uses the tunnels to bash Mr. 4 with a 5-ton hammer. Nevertheless, it's then revealed that Usap's hammer isn't really 5 ton, but just 2 kilograms. A furious Miss Merry Christmas beats down Usap. Chopper discovers their weakness as he tells Usap to get away from the mole. Chopper then points the dog's head into the tunnel, forcing him to fire repeatedly. Since all the tunnels are connected, it causes a massive explosion. The two agents are not defeated though, as they quickly send Usap flying. The agents then tell them that Luffy is dead, as Chopper transforms into his horn point. Chopper then tosses Miss Merry Christmas into Mr. Four's bat, as he swings away. The two then finish off Mr. Four, as they officially gain the victory. Koza continues pressing forward, as Vivi wants to see Chaka. Meanwhile, Sanji and Mr. Two manage to land significant blows on each other. Mr. Two then transforms his face into Nami's, which immediately makes Sanji lose his composure. At Alubarna, Vivi says that the kingdom of Arabasta is its people, and tells Chaka to destroy the palace. Mr. Two takes the advantage in his fight with Sanji. He looks for the finishing blow, but Sanji sends him flying back. As it turns out, Mr. Two can't perform his attacks while transformed, allowing Sanji to fight back. Mr. Two goes in for an exploding swan, but Sanji dodges. Sanji eventually tricks Mr. Two and performs his inner muscle kick on him. Now knowing Mr. Two's weakness, Sanji finally defeats him. Sanji then extends his hand, thanking Mr. Two for the good fight. While Nami talks to Chaka, Crocodile appears. This palace is a good place to watch you lose everything. Meanwhile, Nami runs for her life as Mr. One and Miss Doublefinger chase her down. Zoro then comes in to save Nami. Mr. One's body is covered in blades, due to the devil fruit he ate. Zoro faces off against Mr. One as Miss Doublefinger focuses on Nami. Nami wants to fight, but is attacked by Miss Doublefinger, who can grow spikes from any part of her body. Nami pulls out a weapon that Usap created for her, but it summons two pigeons, kinda like a magic show. It then shoots a bouquet of flowers. Miss Doublefinger attacks Nami with a spiked ball. It turns out that climb attack can be used for party purposes, and combat purposes, much to Nami's annoyance. Doublefinger shoots Nami through the leg. However, Nami uses a low air pressure barrier to push her adversary back. Doublefinger impales Nami, but it turns out it was just an afterimage. Miss All Sunday uses her powers to prevent the guards from helping King Cobra. Crocodile tells Vivi that Luffy is already dead. Crocodile then asks King Cobra where the Pluton is. Meanwhile, Doublefinger turns her arms into massive spikes as she attacks Nami. Nami then creates a rain cloud by combining hot and cold bubbles together. And by using this rain cloud, she shocks the agent with it. "Be careful of tornado attacks," warns Nami. Doublefinger attacks Nami once more. Nami unleashes her final attack, which looks like a party trick at first, but ultimately finishes off Doublefinger. Crocodile explains that Pluton is an ancient military weapon that has the capability of making a whole island disappear. Crocodile explains that a powerful cannon will aim here in 30 minutes that has a blast diameter of 5 kilometers. Crocodile then asks for the thing that has the true history on it. "I will take you there," says the king. Elsewhere, Zoro begins his battle with Mr. One. The two begin clashing with each other. Despite performing many special moves, Zoro can't seem to damage Mr. One. Mr. One then sends Zoro into a building that crumbles down on top of him. Zoro then recalls a conversation he had with his master. The strongest sword can protect and destroy what it wants. Zoro then lifts up a building and tosses it towards Mr. One. Mr. One disintegrates the building, but Zoro attacks him with a flurry of strikes. After getting knocked down, Mr. One uses Spiraling Blade to gash into Zoro, causing him severe pain. He then performs Disintegrating Splitting Slash. Despite all the injuries, Zoro persists on. "I can hear it. His metal is breathing," says Zoro. He uses Lion Requiem to finish off Mr. One with style. "I give my thanks to you. Now I'm even stronger." Alubarna's special guards come to the king's defense. They attack Crocodile, but he disappears before their eyes. The guards then perish. Chaka attacks Crocodile with fury, revealing that he's a devil fruit user as well. Though Zoro has come out victorious, he collapses to the ground from his wounds. Usap tells Sanji and Chopper that Luffy is already dead, but Sanji doesn't believe it. Nami then makes her way to the palace to rendezvous with the others. "Being weak is a sin," says Crocodile. We then see a countdown with 25 minutes left on it. Koza arrives at the castle. He finds out that Crocodile was behind all the misfortune that befell Arabasta. Vivi begs for Koza to stop this falsified rebellion. Crocodile attacks, but Chaka intervenes. Koza tells the royal forces that this war is meaningless. Koza raises the white flag, telling everyone to throw away their anger. Koza is then shot. A fake royal guard, who is really a Baroque's Works agent, shot Koza. The fighting between the two forces intensifies. Crocodile grabs Vivi, telling her that only the powerful can bring dreams to reality. "You cannot save this country," says Crocodile as he drops her off the ledge. Just then, she's saved by someone riding on a large falcon. "Crocodile!" screams Luffy. Pell then drops off Luffy in front of the palace. The rest of the Straw Hats then arrive, happy to see Luffy alive. "I'll finish it now. All of it," says Luffy. Luffy whacks Crocodile with extreme fury. "Gomu Gomu Buzzsaw!" Luffy sprays water on himself, declaring that it's Crocodile's weakness. To save the country, Vivi says they have 10 minutes to find the shooter. Crocodile tells Luffy he's one of the 7 gods of the sea. Luffy starts using new techniques against Crocodile, catching him off guard. Luffy then drinks the entire barrel of water. Water Luffy! He then uses Gomu Gomu Rocket Punch. Crocodile then turns everything into desert. He then uses the mass erosion to turn everything into sand. Nico Robin easily defeats the Marines, as they refocus their efforts on finding the bomb. Tashiki looks to fight back, but Nico easily disarms her. Meanwhile, Crocodile dehydrates Luffy by grabbing onto his neck. Luffy miraculously recovers from Crocodile's attack. Nico is taken to a hidden room by King Cobra. There, she is to learn the true history. Meanwhile, the Straw Hats continue looking for the bomb. Luffy then asks Tashiki where Crocodile went. She henceforth points him in the right direction. Luffy runs, but eventually collapses from all his wounds. Nico then stares at a huge cube, as there's only 4 minutes left until the bombing. Crocodile arrives as Nico reads the country's history from the cube. She claims that the word Pluto isn't mentioned, angering Crocodile. He thusly ends their 4 years agreement, but Nico tosses a vial of water at him and threatens to pour it on him and cut him with a knife. Crocodile evades and slices her with his hook. Crocodile laughs at Cobra, saying he will die in 3 minutes. Vivi then discovers the location of the bomb as Usap fires his red star to alert everyone. Luffy wakes up and finds the entrance to the crypt. Luffy enters inside as he meets with an enraged Crocodile. Luffy wants Crocodile to give the country back as he punches him right in the face. Luffy reveals that his own blood is stopping Crocodile's sand. Crocodile then reveals a poisonous element to his hook as the two get ready to square off. Elsewhere, the Straw Hats gather to Usap's signal as Tashiki and the Marines provide support. Vivi declares that the bomb is inside the clock tower. Meanwhile, Luffy and Crocodile continue their intense battle. Rocks come crumbling down as Crocodile smiles at Luffy. Crocodile then claims that the poison is spreading throughout his body. Zoro and Sanji begin climbing the clock tower, but unfortunately, the clock opens up and Mr. 7 and Miss Father's Day come out. The two agents get ready to ignite the cannon. Luffy continues attacking Crocodile with everything he's got. Crocodile reminds him that it's useless, since the poison will kill him eventually. Nami uses Cyclone Tempo to launch Usap, Chopper, and Vivi into the air. Sanji and Zoro then create an artificial ladder to propel them higher. There are now 7 seconds until the bomb goes off. Crocodile laughs at Luffy's limpless body. Vivi is propelled upwards by Zoro, as Mr. 7 and Miss Father's Day attack her. Chopper transforms his body, allowing Vivi to dodge their attack and reach the top. She then proceeds to knock them out. "It's over," announces Crocodile. In a flashback, Vivi tells Chaka and Pell that she's going to the secret base, which turns out to be the clock tower. In real time, Usap says, "Did it stop?" It turns out that Vivi cut the fuse just in the nick of time. Crocodile then explains that if the shooter failed, then another bomb will go off shortly afterwards. Vivi then tells the others about the bomb. Vivi cries as she yells Crocodile at the top of her lungs. Luffy rises to his feet once more, saying he'll become the king of the pirates. Luffy breaks Crocodile's hook. "I will just exceed you." Pell remembers Vivi's childhood and how he slapped her for being so reckless. Later, Pell lets her ride on his back, even though the king had forbidden this. In the now, Pell tells Vivi how proud of her he is. He then grabs the bomb with his talons and flies upwards. "I will make the enemy of the royal family vanish into nothing," says Pell, as the bomb explodes above the city. The explosive force proceeds to knock everyone down. However, the rebels and the royal army continue battling with each other as if nothing happened. Vivi then begs for everyone to stop fighting. Luffy and Crocodile continue their intensive battle. "I will exceed you!" Crocodile attacks from above, but Luffy inflates himself and launches himself upwards with great momentum and spin. He uses Rubber Sandstorm as Crocodile counters with razor blades. Fly away from the land of this country! Crocodile thusly goes flying as Luffy has won the battle. Crocodile then collides into the mausoleum as the Straw Hats cheer on Luffy's victory. Vivi begs for everyone to cease the bloodshed, but no one seems to listen. Rain then falls onto the city as Vivi tells everyone to stop once again. The rain is finally falling again because all the nightmares have ended. King Cobra thusly thanks Luffy for all his hard work. Eiichiro shows up, revealing that he's not dead. A kid then reveals that the king from earlier was a fake, and in fact, this battle was planned from the beginning. Everyone henceforth puts down their weapons. King Cobra carries Luffy's body to the Straw Hats. Nico Robin stares at her boss as Crocodile is stripped of his title as a pirate god. Cobra then decides that they will reunite through this war. We will rebuild the Arabasta kingdom. We are then introduced to the Marine captain, Black Cage Hina. She calls out Smoker for giving Tashigi preferential treatment. Smoker then tells Hina to take the Baroque work ship to the Marine's base. Vivi looks over at Koza as he recovers from his wounds. The inhabitants celebrate the first rainfall in years. Toto smiles as he thinks about his son. As Vivi and Eiichiro watch the rainfall, the Straw Hats rest in the palace. Tashigi henceforth meets up with Smoker and apologizes for helping the pirates. Smoker tells Tashigi to stop crying and to become stronger. I will, screams Tashigi. The world government wants to cover up the incident in Alubarna and reward Tashigi and Smoker with medals and promotions. However, Smoker tells them to eat shit. The Marines look for the Straw Hats, but the Royal Guard covers them up. Whoa, I slept very well, says Luffy. Luffy then finds out that he slept for 3 days. The Straw Hats proceed to eat to their heart's content. They then head towards the palace bath to relax and wash up. Cobra bows his heads towards the Straw Hats for all they have done for the country. Eiichiro and Chaka then find out that Zoro's got a bounty of 60 million belly on him, and Luffy has one for 1 billion belly. Vivi tells Eiichiro that the Straw Hats have already left. Django and Fullbody are then seen dancing after catching an enemy ship. Meanwhile, Luffy's crew rides through the desert on the duck troops. In a flashback, Luffy talks to Mr. 2 on the snail phone. Mr. 2 says that he took their ship. However, he reminds them that he's their friend and he hangs up. Nami then gives Vivi 12 hours to decide if she wants to join the Straw Hats. The Straw Hats then reach the Going Merry as it's revealed that Mr. 2 protected it from the Marines. Hina then receives a report that they found the Straw Hats ship. Eiichiro, I want to be a female pirate, says Vivi. Vivi then prepares for a formal ceremony, a coming-to-age ceremony, if you will. Elsewhere, the Straw Hats struggle with the Marines. Luffy is surprised that Django is now a pirate. Black Cage Hina then makes her entrance onto the battlefield. Mr. 2 warns that they need to escape, but Luffy is staying for Vivi's sake. As Vivi looks over the crowd of people, she announces that she has something to say to her father and Eiichiro. Luffy and Mr. 2's ships then go in opposite directions, and the Marines deduce that Mr. 2's ship is serving as a decoy, but it turns out to be the opposite. Fooled ya! Mr. 2's crew are masters of disguise as they combat Hina head on. We will never forget you, says Luffy. We then see a flashback of how Vivi and Eiichiro decide to infiltrate the Baroque works. The ceremony at Alubarna has started, with Vivi delivering her speech. She talks about her travels on the seas, and the people realize that she's talking about the battle with the Marines that was kept secret. However, it turns out that Eiichiro impersonated Vivi to buy her some time. Vivi then says hi to the Straw Hats and tells them that she's not going. Though she wants to go, she loves her country too much. The Straw Hats sail away as they raise their left arms in solidarity, signifying their friendship with Vivi. Hina finishes up Mr. 2's forces with her arm encompassing an entire man's body. On the phone, she says that Smoker is rather pleased that Luffy escaped her. Toto thinks of Luffy as he says his farewells. Chaka then visits Pell's grave, though for some reason he can't shed a tear, and he finds this a bit strange. Vivi sheds many tears as the Going Merry goes out of sight. She returns as the Arabasta kingdom would rebuild with great speed. Tashigi sees the new wanted posters for Luffy and Zoro, finding out that the latter killed 100 bounty hunters at Whiskey Point. They will henceforth chase the Straw Hats. On the Going Merry, Nico Robin makes her presence known, and she reveals that she's been here all along. You're really weird. What do you want? Says Luffy. Let me join your crew, replies Nico. And with that, guys, that officially ends the Arabasta saga. Next up, we got the Sky Island saga. See you next time.